Hi everyone, welcome back to Project No Buy. In today's video, we're going to be talking about trendy items on TikTok in 2025 that I didn't buy and will not buy. So I came up with a list of about 10 items here, and I also have an article from Cosmopolitan of 70 plus TikTok viral Black Friday deals worth snacking on Amazon. And so I'm going to go through the 10 things that I organically came up with first, and then we'll open this article and perhaps take a little bit of a look at that together. And I don't think I'm going to go through all 70 items, or maybe we'll rapid fire and we'll just wait and see. So the first item that is on my list is the Owala water bottle, and these have exploded, at least in popularity as far as where I currently live and what I currently see around me. And I am also seeing some of the hydro jug with that fold down straw. And I was tempted momentarily to replace my trusty water bottle with that one because I experienced drinking a fly through my straw here. But I rationalized that it would be more environmentally effective to just get a cover for this. And again, I can't proclaim that that was the most sustainable solution or that there wasn't some other solution, but it was just the solution that was most accessible to me at the time. And so I now have covers for this straw so that I don't get bugs in my water again. And I opted for that instead of buying a whole new water vessel. I did also look and see if there were other lids for this one that I could get, but to no avail. And anyway, back to the Owala, I actually did have a moment where I was buying a plain black water bottle that I could have on stage at work. And instead of getting the Owala, I got just a cheap one at Walmart. Again, not the most sustainable thing to do, but I did avoid getting the trendy one just for the sake of the trend. On reflection, there's actually not a great reason to just avoid the Owala on principle, or put it this way, I don't think I would have been making a massive failure if I'd gotten the black Owala instead of the plain black, cheaper Walmart water bottle that I ended up getting instead. You know, I don't actually think it's morally superior to avoid the trendy item just because it's trendy. And I don't know if I would say that I was doing it for moral superiority or to save money or for what, but you know, this is all to say that I don't think it's a bad thing if you have any of the items on this list. And in my previous life, I would have purchased a lot of these without hesitation and been interested in them. But in today's reflection, I have avoided purchasing these items thus far. And the first one is the Owala water bottle. It is kind of tempting sometimes. They do come in cute colors. They are more and more popular, it seems like. Seems like even people at my work now are carrying them. Even some of the people that aren't necessarily trend aware, you know, they're in the stores and people just buy them if they need a water bottle. And so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a morally superior guru and wouldn't buy a $30 water bottle instead of a $10 one on principle, you know, saving the money, not being trendy. But as of right now, I have what I need in terms of water vessels, and I will not be purchasing any other ones. The second item on my list is specific, or quite specific. It's the Park sweatshirts. And I guess they have a specific neckline, but other than that, the distinguishing feature is that they say Park on them. Park with an E, I think it's the name of the creator. And I thought this was a little bit bizarre. I have always had an aversion, even as a kid or a teenager, to wearing names of other people. So like when everybody in my high school was wearing the branded shirts of Abercrombie and Hollister and whatever, I was a little reluctant to participate until the middle of high school, where I did kind of break down and got some shirts that just said Abercrombie on them or whatever, just to fit in. And I'm not going to speak for my past self here, but now, presently, I still find it weird. I still kind of find it not desirable. I would rather have a sweatshirt that says something relative to my identity, I guess. You know, like you go to Thanksgiving dinner and your grandma's like, what's Park? You know, why does your sweatshirt say that? You know, I'd rather my sweatshirt say, you know, the Badlands of South Dakota, and grandma can say, oh, where's with the Badlands? Did you go there? And I can say, oh yeah, I did. That's more of a comfortable experience. Or my other graphic sweatshirt is one of music. It's La Mer Debussy. And again, I have personal connections with that. And so I don't want to sheepishly explain. And again, it's not about the judgment of others. I've made videos about that where we shouldn't be buying things for others or for what other people think or what they might judge us on. You know, it applies both ways. applies to wearing logos as well. You do you, but it's always been something that's not something I want to pursue. And so while the sweatshirts are objectively cute, you know, they come in cute colors and cute pattern, like the color combinations of the words and the embossing or whatever and the neckline, you know, whatever. It's a cute sweatshirt. I can see how in a past life, perhaps I would have been influenced by just seeing everybody with them. It's not something that I purchased, obviously. It's on this list. And I will not engage in this kind of influencer hype items that have not really a function, I guess. There are plenty of influencer hyped items that I have purchased because I thought they would do something for me. Again, kind of the recent skincare possible fiasco or possible, I mean, maybe it'll be a success in that these products will do something tangible for me. I don't know, remains to be seen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go look at the video of everything I bought in November, where there was basically a skincare extravaganza of things that I previously said I didn't need and then bought anyway. But anyway, the third item on this list is the Lola blankets. So it's a specific brand of blanket. I guess they're extra fluffy or extra cozy or something, extra expensive too. I think they're hundreds of dollars. And so when I already have a blanket and numerous other blankets, it's just not something I need, no matter how appealing it might be in any given moment. When I see one or somebody recommends one, I think they've been recommended a lot for Christmas gifting. And so being curious, I did open some links, and it does look like a very nice blanket. And blankets, again, are one of those kind of neutral items that's like, oh, everybody needs a blanket, or everyone can use a blanket, even if you don't need another one. But that's not the kind of consumerism I want to engage in anymore. And I have resisted thus far, and I will continue to resist the Lola blanket. The fourth thing is red light masks. I actually did a video on this one as well because it seemed like they were following me around for a while, in that YouTube creators that I watched organically would be promoting the red light mask. So some of these creators would be more slow fashion, slow consumption, conscious consumption related, and yet they would take sponsorships from the red light mask companies. And so naturally, or maybe not naturally, I was already kind of primed to be annoyed at these kind of sponsorships. Not at the creators per se, but at the sponsorships and the presence of, you know, the products for sale. And so I wasn't really in a space to be influenced to start wanting a red light mask. Me of 2 years ago would have been influenced for sure, would have trusted these people and their opinions, even if it's a sponsored segment, even if it's just the virtue of seeing them use something that perhaps I should try and use, even if it wasn't genuine, even if they were lying, in other words, would have been effective on me in wanting to try it. And so I have resisted thus far. I will not be adding the red light mask to my regimen. Honestly, I don't really have time or like somewhere to put it, or there are other factors that are clear indicators of this not being a good fit for me in my lifestyle. And so I will not be getting red light treatment. The fifth thing on this list is Spinelli rings or Spinelli jewelry. So again, just based on what I saw, what I've been seeing on TikTok, and on my personal TikTok feed, it's really not consumer focused anymore. I do still see some of the Christmas gift videos of like things I would ask for if I didn't already have them. You know, those do still pop up occasionally. But mostly, honestly, what I get served now is eating content, eating and traveling. A lot of what I ate in Tokyo in particular, and I'm not mad at that. And again, I'm not really on TikTok that often, but the few times that I do choose to go on, that is what I mostly see now. So I did, for a period, see Spinelli rings being requested or being asked for gifts, and I can see how that might be the jewelry of the moment or of a few months ago or whenever it was that I started seeing these. And I'm just not really interested in expanding my jewelry collection. The earrings that I got for Christmas or under the tree for Christmas that I will get are kind of a substitute for something that I already have and enjoy wearing. I'm not trying to expand and get more options. I'm just trying to enjoy the options that I currently have. And so I don't need any more rings. I have my ring kind of format that I wear every day, and I'm not really interested in changing that. I do have other options of rings that I already owned prior to 2024 even, and I'm not looking to acquire more. If anything, I would be open to letting go of some of those and acquiring less, or, you know, decluttering to have less, but I'm not in a hurry to do so. I will do that consciously and sustainably, or as sustainably as possible when the time comes, or I might even keep some of these things around for kids who will eventually grow into them. So anyway, Spinelli rings is kind of a stand-in for any popular jewelry, but that is just one of the things that I saw on TikTok. Number 6 is Coach handbags. Again, I have a bag collection. I have a preference for one brand, and I'm not looking to expand my collection or try other brands, nor will I ever have the practical need to really do so. It's not as if the Coach handbags are better work bags or anything like that. They're just the styles that are in right now seem to be a lot of Coach. And I am not really drawn to trying that. I could be if I was going to put myself in that frame of mind. I could absolutely go back. I can kind of feel how that could happen, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try to be content with what I have. I'm going to embark on another no-buy year and really try to be strict about it this time, stick to my rules so that I can finally say that I've done it. But I will not let myself slip back into entertaining that idea of trying different kind of bag styles because I see them everywhere, because they're what's currently popular. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all to say as far as that goes. I will not be trying any Coach handbags, no matter how TikTok viral they become. The 8th thing on this list is any of the Trader Joe's tote bags. One of these was actually on my March, I think, things I wanted to buy but didn't in 2024. Because again, they were popping up all over TikTok. They were those little kind of lunch bag sized Trader Joe's tote bags. I think they were like $2.99 or something. So it wasn't an expensive purchase, but it was just something that was sought after on social media. And since that one, they've come out with pastel colors, Halloween colors, Christmas minis or something like that. I think I saw videos of people standing in line for those. I was thinking, good thing I didn't try to go to Trader Joe's that day, just on a whim, because I wouldn't have known about the bags and I would not want to be waiting in line. I don't know if that would happen in my location or not, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, if you don't know about that kind of consumer trend, same thing with the Starbucks Bear Cup. Like, what if you happened to be at Starbucks at opening that day to get a coffee and you have this massive line of people trying to get the Bear Cup? Yeah, I mean, the more you don't know, I guess. And I'm happy to be in the realm of people that don't know anymore, but I will not be buying a Trader Joe's tote bag because I don't need one. There's that. You could consider the 9th thing on this list the Starbucks Bear Cup. I, again, only know about that because of the consumer critical videos, but I think it's a good stand-in, or maybe a bad stand-in, but it's a kind of a stand-in for any of these products that pique the interest of people. And what I think a lot of the consumer critique videos missed is, or maybe didn't address, maybe they didn't miss it, but my personal take, I guess, put it this way, is that it's kind of a way to have something to do or something to be a part of that's fun and not too serious. And that's something that maybe is missing from a lot of our lives, right? Like when I was a kid, not to go back into these kind of tales of whatever, but this maybe would have been something like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies or Harry Potter or book series that would come out with new books or something like that. That was kind of like a shared cultural moment and you could bond over that. Maybe taste in music is one of these things that does still exist and people still bond over it. But there's also these consumer trends that give people things to bond over as well. So again, you're waiting in line for the Trader Joe's tote bag. You meet people in line. You can talk about it. You're both there together. You're there for the same thing. The Starbucks Bear Cup, the hype is generated about it. You're kind of interested, varying levels of interested. And, some people will be interested enough to go and try to get one. And I guess the Target Black Friday swag bag is another one that's come up. And it's, again, a shared community experience that is becoming more and more rare, or more and more commodified, perhaps, is the right idea, the right sentiment there. Maybe it's not becoming more rare, but it's becoming more focused on stuff that we can become interested in together and pursue together. And, the scarcity marketing of it is like, oh, who's going to get one? And then that kind of emotional roller coaster of like being upset if you don't get one, or the thrill of the hunt, or, all these kinds of things we can get out of this experience that perhaps we used to get through other means, or other methods or, you know, other kind of larger scale activities that are harder to come by or harder to afford or harder to plan in today's society where perhaps our work schedules don't allow for it, or again, maybe that's part of becoming an adult where now we can't go to the midnight showing of this movie because if we do that, we won't be able to work the next day or take care of kids or do whatever we have to do. And when we were teenagers, we could do stuff like that more readily. I don't know, but that's my feeling on it anyway, that this kind of, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a midnight movie if you go show up at Starbucks at 4 a.m., right? Because that's still doing something in the wee hours of the morning. So maybe that logic is bunk. But anyway, moving on. The next thing on my list here, might be thing number 9, is that very specific paper towel spray bottle thing. And I think this is on the Cosmopolitan list of 70 TikTok viral things. In almost any kitchen organizing or restock video, you'll see that paper towel holder. And I don't use paper towels, so I will never need a paper towel holder. I use reusable cloths and wash them seemingly all the time, washing and folding those towels. But I will not be getting the spray paper towel holder. And I don't know if I need to say more about that. The next and last thing on my list of 10 things here is any makeup viral products. So this is things like the Benefit Benetint, like the lip stain or whatever it was. I think I saw things about the Hourglass ambient lighting palette, you know, the one with the artwork on the front. I don't even know what else there is right now, what else is viral. I might have accidentally stumbled into buying some TikTok viral makeup or skincare with my purchase of Rhode skincare this past month, but it wasn't because I was seeing it on TikTok. I've not been on TikTok in a heavy way these past couple of months. And I, interestingly, haven't really been seeing any Instagram ads for skincare in general. I have fallen prey to a couple of Instagram ads. I mentioned this in my things I bought in November video, where I bought a dress from an Instagram ad. And was there one other thing? I'm not sure. But I do fall prey to those still sometimes because I'm not necessarily on there with my guard up. Like maybe TikTok, I do have my guard up more when I go on there these days. I don't know. But either way, I haven't purchased anything that I've seen on a social media app in the skincare and makeup category this past few months, at least. I can't say this past year because I honestly can't remember what I have purchased this whole entire past year. But we might go into that in a video in January as far as doing a loose recap of things that I purchased in 2025. So you can look out for that later. I simply don't have the wherewithal to do that now. Let's go ahead and open that Cosmopolitan article now and see if there's any other interesting things on here. And I do notice now that it's not 70 plus items, it's 80 TikTok viral items on sale at Amazon, curated by chronically online editors. Even the image here is full of things that I have seen multiple times. The Black Cherry Owala, I think, has taken TikTok by storm. This Stanley Cup, I don't know if that's a particular one. Sol de Janeiro products, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Apologies. The Gizu products. Particular sunglasses, lip masks, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I probably will read eventually, but I will wait for the library. So yeah, the first thing on here is the Owala, which was the first thing on my list as well. That's interesting and funny. This twist off cap one reminds me of the Swell bottles, which had a moment, I don't know how long ago, was that 10 years ago now? So things go around and come around and the trendy brand just changes and it looks almost identical with the twist off cap. I mean, the shape is different, the pattern's different, obviously, but it doesn't have the signature Owala kind of flip top with the straw and etc. The second thing is particular hair clips. I am done buying hair things for now. I have enough. A half zip pullover sweatshirt that kind of looks like a Lululemon dupe. A hairstyling tool, again, looks like a dupe for the Dyson Airwrap. A lot of dupes on this kind of Amazon list. Labubu outfit. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I did buy Labubus, as you can tell, and I, for that reason, could not include them on the list of TikTok viral things that I didn't buy, because I did buy those. I didn't really get into all the outfits and accessories though, so there's that at least. Levi's jeans, which might show up again on the list of brands that I tried because of influencers and discovered are absolutely not brands that work for me. Again, some beauty items here, a craft item, so the Gizu Honey Gloss Hair Wash, a Cricut DIY machine, that Sol de Janeiro cream that I have tried myself and found to be too scented for me. So I do not recommend if you don't like scented products or heavily scented products. Starface pimple patches, again, I think I'm just too old for things like that. The Laneige sleeping mask that gave me itchy lips or kind of a cheilitis thing going on. I don't know if it was the product itself or just kind of dipping back into the product with that kind of open pot format. A retro digital camera, which the thought of that being retro is, again, I'm just too old for this. What looks like a dupe of Ugg boots, sculpting gua sha tools, a particular armchair. Again, a lot of this is the typical fare, right? So lip gloss, leather jackets, press-on nails. It's a lot of stuff that you can buy, the blankets, the Stanleys, the Birkenstock dupes. It's all the same. It's all the same kind of stuff that is easily sellable, I guess. And there are different aspects of these things that create that desire. So some of it is the very viral aspect of it in itself, right? The more videos you see of people wearing Birkenstocks, the more you're going to want Birkenstocks, or the more you could want Birkenstocks, right? I'm not saying you're going to want them, but somebody out there who has that repeated exposure effect might start wanting them. And you know, that's how these products become TikTok viral. You get the videos with the people below them commenting, oh, I want this so bad. This is a need, not a want. Oh, I'm jealous of this or whatever. You know, like when I have money, I'll buy this. You know, the comments like that, you've probably seen them all before, especially if you watch some of the consumer critical commentary. These are the ways things become viral. And again, I do think that some of it is part of that shared cultural experience. And I do kind of feel that pull in myself when I look back as to why I bought some of these things. And even in real life, you know, take the TikTok out of it. Sometimes I'll be sitting in a class or something, waiting for one of my kids, and notice that half the moms in there are also wearing the same kind of shoes that I'm wearing, you know, whether that be Ugg boots or, you know, what have you. And it is kind of like being in a tribal atmosphere, I guess, where it's like, oh, I found my people, the people wearing comfort shoes and athleisure or whatever it may be. And so, I don't know. Consumption being a shared experience is kind of, I don't know if it's a more recent phenomenon or if it's just become more of a thing recently, because I don't think it's only happening recently, right? Like I do think it happened 20 years ago, 40 years ago, the stuff you have and use saying something about you. But I do think that it has become faster and it has become more widespread than it was before. Yeah, again, you know, I don't want to waste your time by flipping through every single one of these items, but it is a lot of the same stuff. It's a lot of the similar things. Some of these things will have practical value. Some of these things will be genuinely useful. Some of these things, a jellyfish lava lamp is something I would argue that nobody really needs. I, again, am not going to tell you that anything's going to change your life, but some of these things may become everyday use items for you. So it's not even that I'm saying that these things are bad in themselves, but it's just the danger of TikTok virality or social media virality or exposure through any kind of medium that isn't based on your organic needs. It can be a danger as far as something to buy when you feel like buying something. And, you know, maybe that's kind of the last angle of approach here, where sometimes we just get this wild hair where we want to try something, we want to buy something, we want to make ourselves feel better. You know, refer to that video here where I talk about 5 reasons to buy things that are actually not good reasons to buy. And, you know, apply those rules, apply those questions to anything we see online, anything I see online. Again, I'm talking mostly to myself here, that I might be interested in buying. And a lot of these things on this list, all of these things, at least for me on this list of 80 things, are things that probably fall under one of those reasons that are not genuine reasons for wanting to buy something. And I hope that that reminder will help carry me through a true no-buy year next year. So anyway, with that, I think I will say bye for now. Let me know what you've seen on TikTok or any other social media, maybe on YouTube in these consumer critical videos, and what you've resisted buying or what you've maybe been momentarily interested in buying or would have bought at an earlier stage of your own development of a journey towards conscious consumerism. And with that, I will say bye for now and see you in the next one.